So.
Okay, I believe
Alright.
we've got audio here. You can start your timer wherever you like. Make sure you leave
Alright.
your mouse cursor on the timer, though, because the chat likes that.
Okay. It stayed right there.
Yeah, good, thank you.
Alright, and here we go. Alright. First thing I gotta do is fight this boss.
Everybody's asking what about French. Each line of text takes 8 frames, and French has 5 more lines of text through the entire game.
Less lines, less lines.
Less lines.
Yeah, not more.
Got me nervous already.
Alright, I gotta take the smallest step forward, else I get hit.
This boss is just all about positioning.
Yeah.
The way the AI is, it's just trying to hit you based on where you're at. And 18 hits, it goes down.
If I stand in exactly the right spot, I can hit him without his left hand being able to hit me. I needed to fight him to hit that switch because it opens the gate.
This game provides almost no direction on where to go whatsoever. You just have to figure it out on your own. It doesn't tell you to fight that boss, to open the gate. You just happen to walk upon a locked gate and figure it out.
Yeah.
This guy right here is going to give us a key. He goes through this whole text about go find me this black rose if you want to help defeat the evil, and he gives us a key.
And earlier I talked to Granny and she gave me 2 cookies, which are gonna... this bush is in a bad spot. I can't hit it. I don't want to take a hit right now. Usually the bushes stay away from me, but yeah, those cookies fully restore my health. You know you're in for it when the very first thing the game gives you is two red potions right off the start of the game to refill your health. I shouldn't use red potion because that's in this game too. I mean, like a full health refill. This place is probably the hardest dungeon, like in my opinion. Just because there's so much. Yeah, it's just so random that you can so easily die.
All these enemies in here are just random movement. Those little round, little fast things, the skeletons, everything's just random movement. You just have to be prepared to just kill everything in your way. The only thing not random is pretty much these fireballs are on a timer, and the
the fireballs are random too, and the cannonballs. They started at random times. I mean, they go at a cycle, but they started at a random time. Alright, these guys were nice to me.
Here's the hardest room in the first dungeon just because of how random it is.
And then there's a continue point right here, but I have to leave the dungeon. And it respawns all the enemies I killed. It's great. So, yeah, I don't know. The thing about this game is if you take a single hit, it just starts going downhill immediately.
And once you get hit, you go from blue lightning, which does 4 damage to everything. You go down to green lightning, which will start doing 3 damage, but it only has 2/3 of the range. And then once you get down to less than half health, you're at red lightning, which does 2 damage to everything, but it has 1/3 of the range, and you're dead at that point.
Yeah, at that point, it's just, you run through everything and hope they don't hit you. It's totally useless to try and attack with it. So this is at a random time, so I just run past that fire shooter and hope it doesn't hit me. Because I don't have to wait for it to go through its whole cycle if it's at the start of it. It's faster it's faster to take this warp to get out than it is to go back the normal way.
And once you get if we came in here for that greenhouse key, which it doesn't tell you to get, and the black rose, and then after that it's leaving the dungeon.
Yeah. So yeah, I have to hit these switches in a V shape. That sign there says that's what I have to do. It says like 1, 2, 3 V. That's your clue. They weren't joking about it being your clue. That's the only clue in the entire game. Every other time there's a switch puzzle, you're just supposed to hit them randomly until it works.
Some of the switch puzzles are 3 switches or 4 switches, and not even all of them are used.
Yeah.
You just have to hit random switches until it works.
So I give the black rose that guy wanted me to get to Morticia for the health refill, and it gives me an extra skull. And the other guy is so mad that I gave the rose away that he just explodes. It might be a little bit faster to give it to him than to Herb, but I wouldn't even do it even if I came out of there with full health. It's not worth it.
It's worth the extra skull through the majority of the run, since we're skipping most of the health upgrades.
Yeah.
There's 3 optional health upgrades, and we're going to end up skipping 2 of them.
Alright, I really don't want to get hit on the way to greenhouse, because there's so many stuff that would die in 1 hit to blue lightning, but 2 hits to green. You really don't want to get hit. It usually happens that I get hit pretty early in greenhouse and then just have to improvise, but hopefully we can have a good run in this place.
Health drops in this game are a very low drop percentage.
Yeah, you can't even look for them. It's not worth it.
You could grind for minutes at a time and not even get a health drop. But here we are at the greenhouse. More text about this plant who wants to go find sunshine in the greenhouse, wants us to help him.
I have to agree, he has a key that opens the door.
And you get like 3 rooms into this dungeon without him, and you come upon 2 locked doors, and you have keys to none of them. All these small enemies only take 1 hit, so you can just fry them, get in front of them. These tomatoes will start taking 2 hits.
Those tomatoes scared me.
Since we never leave this dungeon until it's over, if we kill everything going into it, it'll already be dead coming back out of it.
These pumpkins are the worst.
These pumpkins take 3 hits with blue lightning, and they take 4 with green.
And those plants that close up after you hit them are even worse than the worst enemies, somehow. Like, you have to...
Also,
I guess I'll just avoid these guys. They're not cooperating.
Also in that last room was a bone spoon, which you're supposed to collect, but it didn't get programmed into the game to actually need collecting.
Yeah. It does move her outside the greenhouse, but the only reason to get it is if you want the blue cookies early. Yeah, you're supposed to get it and give it to Granny, so she'll move outside the greenhouse and start giving you the next type of cookie.
The next type of cookie is the only other one we need for this run.
Yeah, everything else, it's over a 5-minute detour if you wanted them.
And that's where routing in this game started out, was playing it more conservative.
Yeah.
Then the more we routed it, the less refills of health we needed, and half the cookies became useless. So in this room on the left is a green key, which we need to progress through this dungeon, so we picked that up. The other item's a pumpkin. We're just going to skip that because we don't need it.
Yeah, it gives you an extra skull eventually if you pick that up, and another item as well. And also you get a relatively useless item called the music box, but all the text involved, it's got to take well over a minute to do it, so it's not worth it.
All the music box does is there's enemies that are like the red ghost-looking things, you can one-shot them with the music box, or they can't be killed with the lightning.
Mm. Those enemies were nice.
Yeah, so far it's been a pretty good greenhouse, not taking any damage so far, because you get hit going through the greenhouse, it's just downhill. There is a full restore, but it's about 5 rooms out of the way, so you waste about 2 minutes trying to go for it, and then you have to battle enemies along the way.
Yeah. In the run I did last night, which is the new record, you haven't seen it yet, I got hit in like the second room of greenhouse. It was not good, but I ended up saving a ton of time because from then on out, I just walked past all the enemies. Normally that's too risky, but if the run's bad, you might as well just run through and hope they move out of your way, and they did.
There's just a couple more rooms of just trying to get past enemies. If we would have gave the rose to the plant that gave us the key, there would be an extra enemy that spawns in this room right here.
I'm gonna try this, and it's not gonna work. I did it! I did it! That's so hard to do. That skips having to equip and use one of my cookies.
And it also says hitting each of those plants 3 times. So
it's only 2 because I still have the blue, but yeah. That's a tough thing to do that I just did.
Yeah. So this boss right here, there's a quick kill on him if you can get into position, and it tries swiping at you with the different sides, and if you kill the left side, and then the right side will continue trying to swipe at you. You just stand in the same spot and just deal damage till it's dead. And that's the quick kill on that boss.
Am I gonna have a sub 12 greenhouse?
Yeah, let's play about a...
Wow, I'm ahead of my PB by about 8 seconds right now.
Now that we've picked up that bottle of plant food, we need that to progress.
Yeah, there are a couple of guys that are blocking my way, and I need to move them. That's the whole reason I had to do all that.
And the game now does not tell you where to go.
No, it never tells you where to go.
If you wander around, these plants that are in our way will say, can you try to swipe a bottle of plant food from the greenhouse? But that's it.
I took a hit there because that guy managed to follow me through. And the other guy was in my way, and I couldn't see him or hear him because my television volume's too quiet. That was a mistake on my part. Yeah, this guy's like, ah, manger! And you gotta give him the plant food.
So on the first screen of the woods, if we would have went north, there's a key item for the firefly that's 5 minutes out of the way. That's a firefly inside of a jar that will light up darkened rooms. However, there's only like 1 or 2 dark rooms we have to go through in the entire game. So it's a major time loss for no reason. We skipped the firefly.
Yeah, you don't even need it for those dark rooms. Just turn up your brightness, and you can see pretty well.
Yeah, because it's rooms with lava in it, and then ground on top of it, so you can see like the outline of where the land is and the lava is. So firefly's useless. Now we're going to go on side questing and go pick up some random items, talk to some random NPCs.
It's not really a side quest. It's required, but it feels like a side quest.
But the game just kind of opens it up to exploration and just lets you wander around the whole map and figure out where to go. Watching someone play this game blind, you can get lost very easily with no direction of where to go.
There's a map, and it's totally useless. It doesn't show you anything.
We skipped the map, too, so we don't even have the map.
Yeah.
So here is Fui. We have no idea what he is or why he's here. This has nothing to do with the movie, and this whole 70-second conversation talks about this guy lost his voice. Fester finds him. Fester wants him to help him find his voice. That's his whole conversation.
The whole reason I have to do any of this, all of this, is so that Thief will show me how to get into Dungeon 3. Otherwise, I don't know how to get in. And the whole reason I have to beat Dungeon 3 is dumb too, but we'll get to that. He shows me Pubert's rattle, which is the kid I'm trying to save, by the way. And says he got it near the mansion, and the only way to get there is through the Trans-Mansion Express. Which is total nonsense, because you can't get to the mansion that way. But I guess because he has the rattle, I agree to help him. If I turn the rattle into Morticia, I get an extra skull. I can do that after Dungeon 3, and I might do it. It depends on how it's going, because I might want that extra skull.
It's 30-second trade-off for an extra skull of health. So in a speed run, you skip it. Marathon safe, we'll find out.
Maybe. We'll see. Depends on how Dungeon 3 goes.
Now Sweep wants us to go meet him at the Trans-Mansion Express, but gives us no direction of where that even is. So
No.
We're just going to explore and go find it.
I'm taking
A lot of this game is backtracking, so...
Yeah. There's a whole lot to this game that you never see because it's totally useless, and then they make you go back and forth between the same areas over and over. I'm taking a lot of damage right now. I'm not quite comfortable with it.
You probably only see like 30% of the overworld. The overworld map is a lot larger than this.
Yeah.
Still got one more cookie left, so you can damage boost a little bit more.
Yeah, I don't like to use it early because I want everything I can have for Dungeon 3. But
right now he's under half health, so he would have red lightning, which is kind of useless.
Yeah, I tried to avoid those enemies.
And that's his only weapon, is that red lightning.
Yeah.
And the way Fester's hitbox is, if you're trying to face downward and use the red lightning, you're standing inside the lightning, so you have to almost stand on top of the enemy and take damage that way just to even hit them. Now here's more text of trying to figure out how do we get this guy out of this tree trunk, because he can't move.
There's a fat guy stuck in it.
We're going to use a flamethrower, we're going to use dynamite.
Just a can of gas will do the trick.
And we shrink him. Well, sure, we can shrink him. Let's go talk to Granny. She can make us a potion.
Yeah, and just doing this conversation skips having to ever touch that bone spoon. Because it moves her there, and she gives me the new cookies, and I don't know. It's a glitch in the game, because if you have the bone spoon, and then you like save and reload with a password, it'll disappear from your inventory, so they assumed that you would have had to have done it. But I feel like it's something that they would have known about and just left it in. I don't know.
This game is glitchy.
Yeah.
This game is very glitchy.
It's not a lot of speedrun useful glitches, but there are two, and there's one really big one that you'll see about an hour in, so stick around for that. I promise you a glitch. Yeah, I'm just gonna have to take that hit. I'm probably gonna take this hit too. No, I dodged that guy. I'm kinda in the danger zone, so I'm gonna heal before I take this next little passage. I don't like to heal that early, but the eyeballs in the desert mainly is what happened. Why I had to heal sooner than I wanted to.
Yeah, and there's very few enemies that drop health, and the eyeballs are not one of them. So now we walk all the way back to the greenhouse. So now we can go talk to Sweep and Granny. Which the whole conversation is, we need a slimming potion. Can you make us a slimming potion?
Yeah.
Oh yes, meet me later.
First they suggest chainsaw and dynamite, but that was already rolled out. Before we have that conversation though, I'm getting my first cookie refill, which includes the blue cookies, which make me invincible for, I don't know, maybe 10 seconds or so. The trick to fighting bosses is going to be to heal to full health, and then stay invincible with the blue cookies, so you can do maximum damage with the blue lightning for as long as possible.
Yeah, a lot of this speed run revolves around cookie management and where to use full health and where to use invincibility.
And where to take damage boosts, what health restores to pick up, that sort of stuff. Alright. Now that I've done all that, a last week will show me how to get into Dungeon 3. The whole reason I have to beat it is because the guy who wants me to rescue his kid is blocking a bridge. And he won't move until I beat Dungeon 3. He says that the kids have found a clue and I should check it out. They haven't found a clue, I don't check it out. But beating Dungeon 3 moves him. There are two
we
other...
never talk to the kids anyways.
Yeah, we never talk to them. I'll point out where they are, but you won't see them. But beating Dungeon 3 does two other things, but because of glitches, I don't actually need to do it for those reasons.
So now we're going to backtrack to about the same place we just were.
Yeah.
If it wasn't for backtracking, this game would be about 15 minutes shorter.
For sure. Alright, so the kids are on this screen here. This forest screen up on the top left. But I'm not going up there. But
if you go up from here and follow the path, both the kids are standing there.
Yeah.
We don't even say hi, we just skip them.
That's what the pumpkin was for earlier, by the way, is what they're up to. But it is just a side quest. I don't actually need to check that out. This dungeon's really random and things can go wrong really fast in here.
So here's Sweep. We found him and he says his voice is inside this dungeon, so we're gonna just jump into it. So the only problem is once you jump into this dungeon, the only way to get out of it is to progress through it.
There's no way to get back in either, which is kind of strange. There are walls. Yeah, there are walls in here you can only break down with an item you can't even get yet. So there's no way to break them down without glitches. Oh, I already took a hit.
There's nothing behind them anyway.
There's like power-ups, but getting hit early in this place is kind of normal. I wish it weren't, but... Well, he has a voice. It's just the voice he lost is presumably more annoying than the one he has now. He wants to reclaim his more annoying voice. These fireball shooters, we're just gonna hope they don't hit me. This time they didn't. They usually hit me though.
Which we need his voice later on, but we just skipped the item that we need his voice for anyway. So actually helping him find his voice is actually useless.
I take the right warp here because the left one has an extra room. This game likes to have extra rooms. Luckily that room sends you forward. Most of the time there's an extra room, it sends you backward instead. That's just the kind of game we're playing. These enemies are being really nice so far. Aside from that first hit.
Yeah, that wall right there that's cracked is where you're supposed to take an item known as the bowling ball that we skip later and use it on that wall. However, you can't get into this dungeon with that item.
Okay, this room I'm in now, I'd say is probably the hardest room in this dungeon. Because it's so often there's nothing you can do but take a hit.
Yeah, that random fire coming out of the middle, it just goes in any direction, and the hitbox is rather weird. it'll hit you if it looks like it's going to fly over top of you, but you'll still take damage from it.
Yeah, I think maybe it's the shadow that hits you. I don't know.
It's just really bad hitboxes.
Yeah. Alright, here's a hit switches randomly until it works puzzle. The solution is right and then left. If you hit the center, it resets the puzzle. Alright, cookie. Blue cookie. I'm going to try to use only one because it's not quite worth... Usually it's not worth the time it takes to equip the second one.
The menu's just kind of slowed, or it has to bring down the menu, equip something, and then go back out of it. It's kind of slow.
And I tried to get hit out of the cookie animation there too, and I did it perfect that time. See, my cookie's run off now. If he hits me again, then he just hits me again. I think it's a she, actually. Wow, that was an amazing fight. I never had a better fight than that.
Yeah, I think you're ahead of your splits right now.
Oh, I think I am too. Can you check?
Your split there is like 26 something.
Yeah, but my split isn't until I leave the dungeon. Wow. Okay. I'm scared now. Alright, what's next?
26 20s, you're like 20 ahead.
Wow, jeez. I thought I had an amazing run yesterday.
Now we're going to walk all the way across the map.
Yeah, I had some really good luck later on in my PV, so it's going to be tough to keep up with. But I'm glad we're on good pace so far. I feel like not having my splits on with me is like helping. I'm not even looking at the timer, I'm just going, you know?
I'll just keep going all the way across the map over to the other side of the swamp.
Yeah, up those stairs is where I would have to go if I wanted to turn in the rattle. I'm probably not going to. Seeing as how I'm way ahead, we're just gonna go for it. I'm gonna play too risky for a marathon. That's what I'm gonna do. And we're just gonna go for it.
Everybody say hi to Fleep, because we found his voice. He's supposed to yell and wake up the gargoyle so we can get a key.
Yeah, there's a random
of that area.
Yeah, there's a random key down there that opens a random door, and that's really the only plot-related reason I could think of for having to beat Dungeon 3. The third thing it does is it spawns Granny to give you the slimming potion. That's the only trigger. All those conversations that we had about it were totally useless. But I could skip it. I'm not going to, because if I have to beat Dungeon 3, it's faster to get it, but I could skip it if I wanted to. Alright, here's the other plant that needs to be fed.
This plant also offers to give you magic seeds, which are absolutely useless as a weapon. Because to damage anything, you take the seed, throw it, and then it randomly damages an enemy on screen with the damage of the red lightning. It is completely useless and not even worth the extra text box.
It could be worth it in casual play, but in a speedrun, it's not even worth taking the time to equip them. So I refuse his offer, and it saves about 5 seconds of text. Alright, let's just run through these wetlands.
So this screen, we see Gomez. And if you talk to him, he says, hey, I found a key to help us get to the mansion, but I've dropped it in this clean water. I can't get it. So, hey, Fester, why don't you get it? And that's all they give you on, you're looking for a key, but don't tell you how to get it whatsoever.
No, they don't. Yeah, the water's way too clean. It's deadly if he goes in for it, because, I don't know, I guess clean water is fatal to Addams.
Now we're going to go talk to this guy that's inside of a bubble. Why this is part of the story, I have no idea.
gives me the slime, which is another useless sub-weapon, but this one has a plot point, so I need to get it.
Most of the things we get in this game, we end up using one time to progress the story. So he gives us the slime, we're going to use the slime once, and then never again.
Yeah, we gotta rescue that guy from his bubble. He gave us the slime, I guess, as a show of good faith. I don't know. And we gotta rescue him because he's an item we need.
Problem is, to get the item we need to free him from the bubble is 17 screens away from him. So this game, it's just nothing but backtracking and...
Oh yeah. It's way back where we first talked to Fweep almost. I couldn't do it the first time because I couldn't get the slime because the guy was blocking the bridge because I didn't beat Dungeon 3 for no reason. The plot of this game, it doesn't make any sense. We just kind of go with it.
The story has nothing to do with the movie. If anyone's seen the movie, it's got nothing to do with the game.
I've never seen it. I tried to get a viewing of it in just for research purposes before my run here, but it didn't happen.
And this is how I found out about this game as a kid, because my parents saw the game and the movie bundled together in the bargain bin.
Nice.
And thought, hey, you get a game and a movie, so we'll buy this for you. And it's like, the game's horrible, the movie's decent. Well, like, I'm stuck with this.
Game ain't that bad. It grows on you after a while.
Yeah, but playing this game blind, though, it can be a nightmare.
It is a nightmare. I probably actually had nightmares.
I rage quit this game twice as a kid because I couldn't figure out where to go.
Yeah, I couldn't even find the Dungeon 1 entrance. Anyway, so this is my last refill of cookies. If I want more, it takes 5 minutes. Luckily, I don't really need any more, but it's kind of rough if you were to do this game glitchless, because that's it. You have to beat the rest of the game, and you have no more help. That's it.
I mean, you only carry 2 of each cookie at a time. You can't stockpile cookies. It's an inventory slot item.
Oh, jeez. We're off to a great start. I went back and killed that mushroom just out of spite. I shouldn't have killed him, but... Yeah, and I also got the slimming potion as well from Granny just now. So I can get that fat guy out of the way.
Look on the right side of the screen, we just passed Cousin It. That's where you get password. That is the only way to save this game, is to walk to that NPC and get a password. And some of the passwords are useless, because if you have items, sometimes your items disappear. When you use a password, it doesn't save the number of cookies you have. It just... This game, it's easier to beat it in one shot than it is to try to save and password and try again another day.
Alright, I took a hit, and that's not good. Because those enemies on that bridge... This segment here is probably the toughest one in terms of making it as far as you need to make it without healing. And
it's just a long walk over the overworld, and not a lot of enemies drop health.
And there's some enemies on the bridge that take a lot of hits to kill. And I'd like to be able to damage boost them, or at least kill them quickly with the blue lightning, and I'm not sure if I can afford either of those options right now.
Yeah, the bushes that are in the courtyards here are able to drop health. They seem to drop health more than other enemies do. It's still hit or miss if you're actually going to get a health drop from them, so sometimes it's not even worth grinding for it.
I have to attack when I walk behind that tree if I don't see the guy, because I have to assume he's behind the tree. I'm stuck on corners. If you move diagonally in the wrong way into a corner, you'll just stop and won't even move. It's really annoying, especially if you have to fit through like a tiny little space. Well, I already took one hit from these guys.
Yeah,
like, look how many hits.
On the bridge.
Yeah.
These enemies drop health too. They're some of the enemies that actually drop health, but the drop rate's still pretty low.
Yeah, they're probably among the more common health drops from those guys. And still, it's basically nothing.
I've never actually calculated what the drop rate is, but it's very low. Now we made it back to the desert. That's one screen away from the canyon where we talked to Fweep earlier. It gives you an idea of how far we've backtracked.
So, this guy complains about his indigestion, but if I fire the slime right away, I don't have to listen to him complain about it. He's just like, burp, that's better, and gives me the black cube. Which I guess...
The only reason we need the slime is to get the strange black cube from him.
And the only reason to get the strange black cube. Yeah, who knows what that does. It makes noise. That's about all we can really say, for sure. Maybe I'll equip it now and start making noise with it.
Yeah, all the text box said was, "I have a strange black cube."
Yeah, that's the black cube noise. I'm just gonna mash it the whole way there.
So annoying.
I'll mash that and the map button alternatively. Oh, I hate this bridge. I'm just gonna waste time killing these guys, I guess.
Yeah, there's not much room to run on the bridge because there's holes in the bridge, so it really limits your movement to either left side or right side.
Alright, so I have the black cube, and I'm gonna warp back now using the slimming potion I got earlier rather than walk the long way back. So that's nice, I at least get to take a slight shortcut on the way back.
Plus it opens up the stations for the Transmansion Express so we can get to another part of the game later.
Yeah, the whole reason I do it really is because it saves time later on when I need to go back there.
Because a lot of this route was developed for trying to multitask as much as possible, even though the game's fairly linear, there's a couple things you can multitask. This being one of them.
Yeah, I need to make it all the way to the boss of Dungeon 5 on this health, so it's really tight segment. It's always close.
Yeah.
And there are some screens that are just really hard to get through without taking damage. If you try, you'll probably just end up taking damage anyway, so I'm hopefully gonna run through. Like, that's the only way to do it fast.
So there's 4 stations to this Transmansion Express. The first one is where the guy's stuck in the tunnel. Second one we're going to come back to. Third one here has you go through a couple quests to get some items that I'll go over in a little bit, which we're skipping. The fourth one brought us to the same screen that Cousin It was on to give us passwords. So we just went all the way across the map by warping. It is faster to warp back than it is to walk back.
Yeah, if I could skip Dungeon 3, I wouldn't bother doing all that, but I gotta beat it, so it's faster to do it.
We have to beat Dungeon 3 so we can get a key to progress. There's no way to get through the locked door without the key, and you have to beat Dungeon 3 to get the key.
Well, the reason I do it in this round is because of the bridge I was just on. Gomez blocks it.
Yeah.
But you were talking about Dungeon 5, I think.
Alright, enemies.
Alright, nice enemies. They were nice this time. The spitting fish are the worst. If you try to take time to kill them, they'll just turn around and spit at you. So there's no point in trying to kill these guys.
And with stairs, you can't kill an enemy if your lightning overlaps the stairs. It doesn't see that as a hitbox for some reason.
Yeah, stairs are the worst because the enemies don't move slower, you move slower and you can't hit anything, and they'll bump you back up the stairs and you gotta walk slowly down them again and you'll get hit again and again. It's rough.
There's the whole reason to get the strange black cube. It magically absorbs the bubble this guy is in.
Yeah, and he gives me
Why? We don't know.
Yeah, he gives me the stone button, which He stole from a dungeon, and I needed to hit some buttons, I guess.
Without the stone button, we can't progress through the next dungeon. So we had to find him to get the slime, to get the strange black cube, to get the stone button, and then we need the stone button.
He didn't come up the stairs. Nice guy. Alright. Come on, screen. Be nice to me. Uh-oh. Let's just pretend that never happened and run over here.
Another switch puzzle.
Hate this screen. He's coming down the stairs. What is he? Get out of here. Yeah, the solution is to hit the right and then hit the left. That's backwards. Hit the left and then hit the right. Fun fact, if you don't hit the right switch to make the stairs appear, the left switch stays pressed in, but it doesn't count. You have to go press it again, even though it still looks pressed in. So that could really screw somebody up if they didn't know what they were doing.
Now we're in the wetlands dungeon. It's actually a rather short dungeon. A lot of these dungeons are just kind of short. It's just they put enemies in the most awkward places.
Yeah.
Like that one.
Alright, that right there is the cookie book, the first one. You need to get that and take it back to Grandma in the swamp if you want more cookies. It just takes way too long to do. It's so unfortunate, because it makes the game way harder to speedrun as a result. I have to kill that. Yeah. I have to kill that guy because he'll be on the warp when I come back.
Yeah, that cookie book, she'll make green cookies, which shakes the screen and deals like low damage to everything. But if you get hit during the animation of eating the cookie, it cancels the cookie.
Yeah, the other cookies still work, but except for the also the red cookie. But...
Yeah, we'll get to that one later, but we skipped that too.
Yeah. Alright, so I used the stone button just now to hit that switch on the wall back there. That's one of two uses for it. This is one of the worst rooms in the game. There's nothing I can really do except damage boost. Hopefully I have the health for it, and I do right now. I'm in really good shape.
Yeah, and hope the enemies aren't in the way. If they are, just run over them. There's a hidden switch behind that rock right there, which you can only see like a couple pixels of it. A lot of stuff in this game is just kind of hidden in plain sight, but you wouldn't see it unless you really looked for it.
So I need to push that switch there with the stone button. It dirties the water, and now that the water is dirty, Gomez doesn't mind going in after it for me. So once I beat the boss of this dungeon, he'll be there to give me the key. I have to hit that switch twice because the bridge I need doesn't show up until I hit it the second time.
This room has a very full restore at the very top of the screen if you do this dungeon after the stone dungeon. And then at the bottom of the screen is a headless teddy bear, which you can collect for another skull added, but we don't need that either.
No, that skull comes too late to be useful. Alright.
Here is Jelly.
Can you be just quiet for a second while I count my hits?
Yeah.
Because I lost count last time we did this. I got lucky, I used the blue cookie at the right time. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Alright, you can talk again.
Alright, yeah, that's very, very specific there because he will just put the jellyfish out, but he won't move, so you get 11 free hits on him. Then if you want to use the invincibility cookie, you can, and then just stand down here in the bottom and just tank the rest of the damage till he's dead. And that's pretty much the fastest kill for that boss.
I think I'm still ahead.
You get 12 hits till you're dead, and he only takes like 4 after that. Yeah, you're still ahead.
But if it's not by 15 seconds or more, I might not be able to keep it.
I think it's about 6.
Yeah.
You split coming out of that dungeon, you're about 6 ahead. So the whole reason we go through there is to get that key from Gomez. Now we can come here. You can Can't unlock that yet.
No, you can't unlock that yet. I started doing a glitchless run there for a second.
So this guy right here that seems like he's blocking a path, his name is Rimblefeathers. We just will never talk to him. We're just going to skip him like he's just not even there.
Yeah. He wants me to find out his name and teach him how to fly. He's forgotten both of those things. We'll point out.
Skip both of those things.
Yeah, we'll point out where those things are, but we're not getting them.
In a glitchless run, just putting up with him adds minutes.
Yep.
So there are 4 switches on this screen that are buried in the snow. If you look very carefully, you can see the indents that are in the 4 corners. And if you don't know they're there, you can definitely spend like 15 minutes searching for these, as watching one streamer do a blind playthrough of this game was as entertaining as it was frustrating. This was one of the things, walking into that room many times, not knowing there's 4 switches on the ground, and walking back out of the room and not knowing how to progress.
When I did casual playthroughs of this game, I'm not sure what happened. I hit all the switches and it didn't activate the warp. I don't know what I did wrong. I still don't. But it happened to me numerous times.
Maybe not. So this dungeon, there is just multiple exits and multiple warps, and
yeah,
you can get lost in this dungeon fairly easily.
The whole point of this place is to get you to get lost.
So here's the dark room, which we should have had the firefly to it, but if you look close, you can see where there's ground and where there's lava. And there's a couple enemies in that room, but you can damage boost through them.
I just went ahead and gave up those 15 seconds, because I don't think I'm going to be able to save them this time around. So I took that damage boost there.
We just picked up a magnet, which has 1 use, which we'll get to in a minute. Everything in this game has 1 use, just to progress the story. You're getting low on health.
I should be good, but I'm not going to be able to skip the full restore. You haven't seen my new PB yet, but spoilers, I did skip it. It's kind of crazy how all the stars lined up.
Game's just getting faster and faster.
Yeah. It's going to be tough to keep up from now on.
I'll just pass it and keep up.
TAS is cheating, everybody knows.
We'll see. That's another dark room. The damage he took was from worms that are in there. In this dark room, there's a couple ghosts in there.
So I'm going to take a 15-second detour to pick up a full restore. Because I'm low on health. When I use the magnet, I really don't want to get hit, because it glitches out the key permanently. And the only way to be able to get the key after that is to die and continue. You can't get it again otherwise.
Yeah, there is a continue point he just walked past coming out of that staircase.
It would be a
However,
bad idea.
Continue points can be kind of glitchy in this game.
I normally don't kill these guys, but I don't trust them. I feel like
that was a really bad placement for those.
Yeah, it was. But yeah, I can't die out here right now. If that were to happen to me, I'd have to go back into the dungeon, because the way that the continue points work is they set your continue position when you touch them, which is right in front of the entrance. But the save data associated with it, so the items you have, how much health you have, and all that good stuff, isn't set until the next time you go through a screen transition. So it would forget that I ever got the magnet. Ow. Ow. That was a bit... I don't need to worry about damage, do I? Because of the full restore coming up. So it's a nice little glitch. I did a casual run of this game and despawned some stairs that I needed in order to get back out of the area I was in. And I had no choice but to reset.
Now we're going to pick up the best item in the game. Best item in the game that we need that just makes this game completely broken. I'll explain the normal use of it right now. This is the shockwave. If you use this, you have to have full health. It damages everything on screen with great damage, but then it takes half your health away.
Yeah, you have to have exactly full health to use it. doesn't work otherwise.
We'll explain exactly why in a little bit.
There is a power-up that gives you more than full health, and if you try to use it then, it just won't let you. Yeah. You should tell them about full restores, because those are glitchy too.
Full restores are very glitchy. The whole game is glitchy.
Yeah. Yeah, the way they simulated you having full health, even though it slowly fills up, the way they simulated that, so you'd have the blue lightning right away, is they set your maximum health equal to your current health as it rises. I'm not sure how I explained that very well.
That makes sense. Like if you're at 4 skulls, it would then make your max health 4.5, and then 5, and then 5.5.
It just slowly increases it at the same pace as it increases your normal health up until it gets to the real value. But you can glitch that out by using a continue point. Next room. This is the item I want right here.
Red potion.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a troll item. It damages you for 1.5 skulls every time you use it. But I need it for the glitch I'm gonna do. You can probably guess that the glitch involves dying. It's probably a good bet. You've seen speedruns before, so you know what they're like. Now, if I take the right door here, that leads eventually to the book of flying, which I'm not getting.
And this is also a rather short dungeon. It's only a couple rooms, but there's just a lot of enemies. And a lot of enemies that just give you cheap damage.
This room with these eyeballs is just total nonsense. Like, you're not really able to dodge them most of the time.
You can't kill them. Oh, the small laser shooting ones you can't kill. Those rolling eyeballs just get in the way.
I got enough health to take some damage, so I'm just gonna damage boost this last room. So another randomly hit switches puzzle until it works. The solution is hit the right one, and then this one here. Alright, here's the first glitch of the run. Why don't you tell them about it?
So, coming up to beat this boss, apparently the spider that we met in the first room isn't really a nice guy, so we're going to fight him as a boss like any other game. So, we're going to use the infinite shockwave glitch. What happens is you get your health to full, which allows you to use the shockwave. However, when you use the invincibility cookie, there's a glitch that allows you to just mash on the shockwave and continue to use it because it never knocks your health down.
Yeah. So I can just do crazy damage to this guy. It beats him so fast. That's supposed to be a hard boss. Anyway, it's not actually the blue cookie that does it. It's the damage. I have to be blinking from taking damage. And then the shockwave also makes me blinking from taking damage, so I can just keep using it. But I need to use the blue cookie so that the damage I take doesn't actually take me away from having full health. But
what
you
you're
can
supposed to do is run around the room. The spider has spider webs he shoots out that slows your movement down to nothing, and the spider just bounces all over you. It can become a very difficult boss.
Oh, it's a horrible fight. So glad we don't have to fight it.
Glitchless, that boss is a run killer in Glitchless. So now we got the items that we need, specifically the red potion and the shockwave. So now it's time to go break the game. Because why not? Any good speedrun isn't glitchless. You just break the game and finish it quickly.
This glitch is pretty involved.
So what he's going to do is walk to a specific screen that has a full restore on it, because we also need the full restore. But he's also going to take some damage along the way, because the first part of the glitch actually involves dying in a very specific way.
I want to jump in real quick. The screen we're going to go to for the full restore isn't a full restore that we've picked up so far. It's actually on the same screen as the mailbox where you find out Rimble's name. So we're going to go to that screen, but we're not actually going to talk to that mailbox. Carry on.
Alright. We're going to go to that screen because we need the full restore, but there's also a continue point on that screen too. The continue point is what we really need, because whenever you die in this game, it gives you the opportunity to continue, and it allows you to continue by what continue point you've hit last, which is a lot of major screen transitions and also dungeon entrances. So it's the most convenient place to die to continue the game. Now we're going to backtrack for a minute and get to that screen. Once again, this game's a lot of backtracking. And he's just damage boosting through everything because it's faster just to walk through it, because he needs his health down to as low as he can anyways. Anything above a skull and a half, you can just... You're wasting time because you're going to have to use the red potion a second time.
Yeah, I try to use the red potion like while I'm moving, so I don't have to wait for it to finish, so I can take a screen transition. So it's not so bad to stop and use the red potion as it is to get damage boosted. So, all right, here we go.
All right, so now he's leaving the dungeon. He's hit the continue point outside the dungeon, and he's going to use the red potion, walk back into the dungeon while the potion's still going on, which is going to kill him. So we're at 0 health, and the game thinks we're dead. So we get the nice game over screen, go back to the start menu, hit continue. We are now at 0 health. The game has allowed us to continue with 0 health as part of the glitch. He's going to get hit twice, and only twice.
Or 3 times. It's looking like it's going to be 3 times.
Or 3 times, or 12. Anyways, he got hit.
Oops. Oops. I used it too early and accidentally did a finish shockwave glitch. It's alright, we're good to go.
So what happens is he picked up the full restore, used the shockwave, which crashes the game. It just warped us back to the title screen. He hits continue. What has happened now is it has activated items on the debug menu, such as infinite health. We're now invincible, and we can now walk through walls. Essentially, we cannot take damage the rest of the game. We are invincible the rest of the game. And walking through walls, like, we're not even on the same layer as any of the game, so we can just walk through the rest of the game. We still have about 30% of the game to beat.
I like how all the sprites are glitched up too.
Yeah, all the sprites are just... It's garbage at this point. We don't know exactly why or how everything has happened.
We don't know what happened.
It's just... We're invincible. We have infinite health. He just refilled his health for blue lightning. Nothing hurts us, and we walk through walls.
I want to point out, you might not have noticed, but if you were wearing headphones, you might notice that the pan of the music is a little bit different. That's because somehow this glitch overwrote my sound value to surround. Actually, it's not surround. It's some ridiculously high value that gets interpreted as surround. If you go to the options menu after doing the glitch and mess around with the sound menu, you just mash left or right on it, it actually changes the sound type. You can't see anything, but it'll change the value, and garbage just appears all over the options menu. So you just stand there for a while and get tons of garbage. If you make the value too high, it'll crash as soon as you load the game too.
Yeah, this glitch just crashes a whole bunch of stuff in the game, overwrites a whole bunch of values, and what we really like out of it is walking through walls and infinite health.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird stuff this glitch can do, but sometimes it's just fun to stand around taking damage and watch the game come apart one skull at a time, because it tries to display the skulls on the screen while you have 0 health.
I've done that too on emulator, put it up to 400% speed, just sit there and took damage. Because once you get below 0 health, it now thinks you have 65,000 plus for health.
Yeah, it's a 2 by value.
It doesn't know what to do with this glitch.
But there's a whole lot of weird stuff you can do. I have warped to the title screen, to the options menu, and straight into a new game. Like, I don't know how any of that stuff happens, but it's ridiculous. If there's somebody out there with technical know-how, this is my pitch. Come and investigate this game. I don't want to be the boy that cried ace, but I think Total Control, it's possible. I think it's there.
Yeah.
It very well could be.
Part of the debug menu allows you to pick any screen in the game and just warp to it. So if it activates something on the debug menu, like infinite health, we think that somebody could probably crack it and somehow do something that activates Ace.
Break from the glitch explanation. Talk about what I'm skipping.
Alright, so
I've tried Sockfolder. He doesn't listen to me. I've bugged him too much in the past.
So we're supposed to talk to Lurch. He's supposed to give us a bowling ball. We're now here. This switch puzzle allows us to get the stone twig key, but we can just walk right up to it. Earlier in the game, when I talked about the 4 Transmansion Express stations, if you go to the 3rd station, go through that dungeon, you get a gold coin. You take the gold coin back to the main gardens, throw it in a well to get a sack of coins. Bring the sack of coins back here, go talk to a gargoyle guarding the switch, which is blocking this warp, or we're just going to walk through the warp. So this glitch saves all of that side questing that is just kind of useless now.
And also, the key from Dungeon 2 we mentioned earlier was needed earlier to get into here.
Yeah, for Fweep's voice, he guards the gargoyles who guard the stone key to get in here, so we skipped that too.
This boss, you don't kill him with damage. It's kind of like Smash Brothers. The more you hit him, the farther he'll get knocked back, and then you gotta knock him off the side.
And that glitchy mess is supposed to be a tree.
Yeah, it's supposed to be a tree. It's not a tree, though. It's just I don't know, it's pulp.
So now we needed that to get the vine so we can go get Thing, because we need Thing to give us the last key of the game.
Yeah, after we rescue him, he goes and finds the key, I guess. I don't know why they couldn't just give us the key now. But whatever.
That's Thing.
Yeah, it's supposed to be Thing. I'm not sure what it is now, though. We could call it Blob, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, Thing thanks us, and he just sits there. But then he'll magically appear way back at the beginning gardens, like 2 screens away from the beginning of the game, so we have to walk all the way back there.
Yep.
Just to get a key so we can progress.
Yeah, we can walk through walls, but we can't take loading zones that aren't there. So we need to get the key to open the stairs.
Yeah, because right now that loading zone is just a stack of bushes. It's not even triggered as a loading zone until the key is used and actually turns the bushes into stairs. Really, it's just a pain just to have to walk back and go get it.
Yeah. And I want to say more about the glitch, too. There are other ways to crash the game that work pretty much the exact same way. They crash the game for the same reason. It's just I can't set up my health in the exact way to activate the glitch so that I can walk through walls. But I feel like there could be a way to make it work. Like, you can crash the game as soon as you can get blue cookies. So 20 minutes in, I could be walking through walls already if there were a way to make it work like that. But there just doesn't seem to be a way right now.
And that's probably the next step in this is find out how to crash it sooner and then just walk through the rest of the game.
Skip that Dungeon 3.
If you start the game, you can, instead of hitting continue like we did to continue the game, you can hit start and essentially start a game using the glitch.
Yeah, we could make a New Game Plus category out of it, I guess. It would be kind of interesting. It would probably take maybe 20 minutes to do it.
Yeah, New Game Plus, there's very few items that are actually required. We would skip probably the first 30 minutes of the game.
Yeah, you would go straight to the slime. Yeah.
And out of all that glitchy mess, there's Fweep. He didn't get glitched out. He's like the only character that didn't get glitched.
Alright, so I gotta talk to Thing to get to the key, but I can't talk to him until after a certain amount of time passes for some reason. So if I try to talk too early, I'll get Morticia's text instead. Fun little anecdote, in my first ever attempt at this game, somehow I managed to glitch Thing out completely. He wouldn't talk to me, I left the screen, came back, he was gone, and I never got the key. And it cost me like a half hour. It was great. Luckily that didn't happen in this run. So we got everything we need now. Let's go beat the game.
Now we got the jeweled key, which goes in the keyhole that he tried to look at earlier, but
yeah.
We didn't have the key.
Yeah, in Glitchless you would get this first, so you wouldn't want to backtrack all the way back through the wetlands like I did. But obviously with walk through walls you can save a lot of time in Stone Garden, so it's better to backtrack through.
Bye, Fweep.
I'm trying to take these stairs because I'm forgetting what I'm doing. I'm like, the run's almost over. It's almost over. We got this in the bag. So I'm going like totally the wrong way. All right, let's focus and let's finish strong.
Yeah, so now we're going to walk back to the wetlands, back past where we got the key from Gomez. There's going to be the first keyhole in that first Rocky's room, and then we're going to go down a set of stairs, which is the last continue point of the game. If you die at any point going into that dungeon or the dungeon after it, it resets you all the way back.
Yeah,
and then
casual play, that's really rough.
Yeah, casual play, that is a long way back. Because there's essentially 2 bosses you have to fight going through there, so it doesn't save your progress anyways. You have to beat that dungeon and the one after essentially in one shot. Alright, so now we made it back to the Rockies. We're going to use this key and finish it. Even Rimble gets glitched out in this. Like, you can't even tell he's a bird anymore. He's just a blob sitting there.
Alright, so I'm going to take an unintended route to this dungeon. Since I can walk through walls, I can just go in what was intended to be an exit, and it's a little bit faster to go this way. Probably about 15 seconds. So
there's another item in this dungeon to the left for the Amulet of True Sight, which allows you to see the next boss even when he's invisible, but we don't need that. So we're just
that's not even worth the time to equip either, because you would have to switch back and forth between it and the bowling ball constantly. Like, you would never. Now these are some of the worst rooms in any game. They're just so bad. There's these little tiny enemies that move around like crazy. There's warps that send you back to the start of the room. Fireballs. Just so much nonsense. You take a single hit, you're going to get hit into one of these warps and have to start the whole room over. Just absolutely ridiculous room. So luckily...
Those are all fireballs shooting out of there.
Yeah, those were fireballs, in case you couldn't tell.
These enemies can't be killed. You just push them out of the way. So no matter what, you're going to take damage in that room.
Alright, so this boss, if I go down to the bottom of the screen, he just kind of hovers over me, and I won't have to chase him down. I do him a hit right away, so that he doesn't have to catch up to me before I can start hitting him again, so it saves a couple frames. But yeah, normally you have to chase this guy around, but he just kind of sits there if I go to the bottom.
Yeah, in being glitchless, you're chasing him around the room, throwing bowling balls and lightning at him. This can easily be a 1.5, 2-minute fight.
Yeah.
Got done with that in about 7 seconds.
Yeah, you need your cookies in glitchless for other fights, so that one you just kind of have to take it slow.
Now we're coming up on the actual mansion once we hit 2 of these valves and make pipes burst. There's a cutscene for it, but you can skip that if you just don't hit the cutscene trigger for it.
Yeah, you can just walk behind it.
Now there's a couple rooms here that you just walk through with a couple enemies. There's those little orange flashing eyes. Those are all enemies that will come out and attack you like that.
Man,
those take 3 to 4 hits.
Yeah. The intended stuff you're supposed to do in the mansion is kind of ridiculous.
Yes, coming into the mansion right here is a cutscene for the mansion. You're supposed to find in a room with a button on the wall. You hit the button, it takes you to another room, you move a book, and you have to find 4 of those to be able to progress through the end of the mansion.
Every single time.
The blocks are very hard to find. The blocks are only a couple pixels square. They are easily missed. If you don't know what you're looking for, this place can take a while.
Yeah, and every single time you hit one of those books, it sends you back to the very first room of the whole place. You have to walk through it all again. Luckily, behind all those walls, the screen transition still exists, so I don't need to do any of that crap.
So that skips several minutes in the mansion. Here is the 4 walls right here that should have doorways through them, but they don't. That doorway is still active. The loading zone up there is active and takes us to the spider.
I guess there's a ghost spider now. That's why he's white and he blinks away in and out of existence. I don't know.
Yeah, we killed him. That's his ghost. So now we're gonna walk through a couple rooms.
Yeah.
Spider's gonna reappear.
Yeah, he offers me the black egg, and he says I can throw it at the guy and rescue the child. It does me half damage, though, if I touch it. That's what it really does. There's an extra text if I skip it, but if you have any intention of fighting the boss, you'll just want to incur that extra text.
Yeah, and this is
Says
really
the guy who
late
has
in the
no intention of fighting the final boss.
Yeah, there's a final boss coming up that has 3 different phases, and we're just going to skip that because who fights final bosses in a game?
Not me.
And
Alright, that's it. I got
Dwarven
111.43.
and
Yeah. What's my PB? 111.39?
Yeah, 111.39,
Yeah,
so
that's my
plus
PB.
0.4.
Yeah. Just under 4 seconds slower than my PB, which is the record, by the way.
Yeah,
I hope you guys enjoyed that. That was a good time. What I like is the boss music is playing. Boss music is still going. Look at these sprites. Look at these ridiculous sprites. Everybody's all glitched out. The music's going. This is the proper ending for a speedrun, in my opinion.
Yeah.
If your game doesn't end like this, you need to go back to the drawing board, look for some more strats.
Why not take a big group family picture, which we didn't even talk to half the family members that are in this picture. We didn't talk to Lurch, Gomez,
Yeah.
Pugsley, Wednesday. We didn't talk to any
I wish
of
this
them.
picture here looked like it did in the game. Alright, that's it. Thank you. Thank you.